Welcome to Dr. Jester Rants, and I'm gonna rant about this. Well, be prepared, because, let's face it, it could be worse. From post-millennial, United Airlines roasted on social media for plan to choose pilots by race instead of ability. Well, I take it back. It couldn't be any worse. Skin color or the lived experience that comes with a racial or ethnic background has absolutely no bearing how best to safely fly planes. Well, imagine you're a passenger of one of those planes. You're a white male, so you immediately get upgraded to the first class. Because that's how these imbeciles, these retards actually believe in, or they actually believe that you just flash your white privilege card and you immediately get bumped up to the first class for free. So you're there, and then suddenly there's an emergency on the airplane. Rest assured that you'll be completely fine, because the pilot is a diverse woman of color. And not only that, she's a lesbian too. So you're completely and utterly fine, because if the plane crashes, at least you're crashed by having been flown by a lesbian woman of color. Congratulations! Oh, not only that, she could be also a transgender as well. Holy boy! At least you crashed knowing you fought the system. Amazing, right? I love it. United Airlines joined other corporations and the US government in making identity characteristics a qualifier for employment. On Tuesday, the company announced that on the flight deck should reflect a diverse group of people on board our planes every day. That's why we plan for 50% of the 5,000 pilots we train the next decade to be women or colored people. Remember, when you use people of color, you are pretty much saying colored people. So let's drop the pretense over here. Let's face it. Every time you call people of color, you are actually saying colored people. Because that's exactly what it is. It's the return of the Jim Crow era to the era where racism was open and abound. Well, let's face it, it's kind of open right now. The only thing is that they changed the victim of the race. Now it's a white male being the victim. Meanwhile, the other races get me. You get it. No need to explain. As they invited those who are women, and specifically not white, to apply to train for work with United Airlines. So basically what it says is that 50% are not white. Or men. It'd be difficult considering that this is a job that is done overwhelmingly by males. Obviously there are women out there who fly, who are pilots, but let's face it, how many of them are actually women? How many of them are actually women dedicating for this? Because this is not only entails a very shitty pay. In most cases and most situations, you may not even qualify for international travel for a very large company. In most of the cases and situations, you are on regional carriers and earning a shitty wage. And in most situations, you're definitely doing very, very, very bad hours. And in most situations as well, you're flying during holidays, you're flying during your kids' recital or something like that, your kids' theater play thingy on school. You're probably a father who may not see your kid growing up in most situations, because you're spending your time flying in a cramped, tiny little tin can, flying from one place to the other. And you're probably doing that 3, 4, 5 times a day. Almost no woman wants to do that. That's why there's very few women who are pilots. But don't worry, United Airlines is going to force the very diverse community to apply for those shitty hours, shitty pay, and not only that, in a shitty, cramped environment, so the air fleet can be diverse. And then when there's an emergency and the airplane crashes, hey, you can't criticize the pilot. At least the pilot was a transgender black woman Nixon who is a lesbian. You cannot do that, otherwise you are transphobic, misogynistic, and racist. Problem solved. Instead of blaming the pilot, you blame the airplane, even though the airplane might be innocent and the crash may not have any defects, but it was designed by a white male, so that's definitely the fault of the white male. And not the trans woman Nixon. No, transgender black woman Nixon who is a lesbo. Anyway, the recruitment video features the voices of two pilots, one male, one female. United says the partnered organizations will help identify and recruit top talent. Well, I'll believe that if you didn't just announce that you want to qualify people based on their gender identity, skin color, or whatever. The financial barrier to entry for highly qualified or motivated candidates will be tackled through a partnership with J.P. Morgan Chase. OANN. Jack Posobiec said, "Disastrous, do not do this." I agree, don't do this, United. You're absolutely doing something very, very stupid. What makes the United program different from the corporate diversity initiatives is that pilots are not in boardrooms, but flying planes, lots of people on them. Yes, I wanted to be a pilot once, but the decisions to be a pilot, I came to the decision that I don't think I could knowingly be responsible for so many lives or something like that, but I don't know. I don't think you should be choosing pilots based on skin color, what they carry between their legs, or gender. The skin color or the lived experience that comes with racial and ethnic background has absolutely no bearing how best to safely fly planes. According to Zipper Carrier website, the current demographic of pilots is over 86% male with over 88% white. Exactly. Not many wants to do that. Not many has the patience to do it. So 86% male. It's overwhelmingly majority male. Like I said in the beginning of this video, not many women wants to do this. And not many women end up being international carriers, because for you to, for instance, to be a coveted international carrier job, for instance, from New York to London, for you to qualify to that, you need years upon years of experience. You need to know your shit. You need to know what you're doing. And first you become a co-pilot, then you become a pilot. For a woman to stay that long and do this, it's utterly rare. But anyway, the emergence of this initiative led Joel Barry of satirical website Babylon Bee to ask if United would be first trying to figure out why less women go into careers as airline pilots. Are women just not interested? Is there a reason that American people, colored people, do not fill the ranks of pilot training schools? Are there people barred from entry by racism, or they simply not attend of their own free volition? Exactly. None of these people are barred because of their gender or skin color. No, it's just because they are just simply not interested. For the same situation, you don't find many preschool teachers who are males, or the secretary who are males. The same reason you don't find many women who works on oil rig platforms in the middle of the ocean, middle of the storm, doing all of those heavy lifting. And in some situations, the lack of body strength doesn't allow them to do so. It's very rare to find women cleaning sewage pipes out in a city. You barely even see one of them doing that. It's not because of discrimination or anything like that, it's just simply that women are not interested in these kind of jobs. It's simple as that. Will the existence of United's diversity quotas create the circumstances under which women and colored people become more interested in piloting planes? No. But it suggests that the skin colors based on quotas will instead be filled by South Asian and Middle Eastern men who are interested in being pilots. Requirement list, I'm all for it, but it won't turn out to be virtuous progressive vision they are trying to paint here. September, Bloomberg reported that more and more companies are instituting diversity quotas in hiring. I wonder if I could get one of those diversity quotas. Problem is, it's how I look. I don't think I could pass one of those. The moment I send them a picture, they say, nah, you're too white, dude. We can't hire you. If you were a little bit darker, less white, we would hire you. Try to be less white, and we'll hire you. Okay? That's probably what will happen if I submit one. I could probably try. It could be a good subject for a video. Maybe one day, when I get the time. Anyway, United joins Wells Fargo, which determined the increased black leadership to 12%. And there's probably a lot of incompetent people up there because you're doing it based on skin color, not meritocracy. Ralph Lauren, that promised that 20% of its global leadership will be colored people, that which aiming to 14% of their offices and directors to be black by 2025. Black population in the US is 13%. Well, they all want overrepresentation. So, if they want overrepresentation, now let's see, let's take Ralph Lauren, 20% of colored people. So, should we make 120% white people as leaders? That makes no sense, does it? Well, congratulations. So, United got a $5 billion bailout last year. What's the first thing they do? Laid off or cut off hours of over 15,000 employees? Discriminate against white men? Yeah, that's what they'll do. That's pretty much what they do. Will Chamberlain, an attorney and co-publisher of Human Events, believes the United will face lawsuits for these discriminatory hiring practices and prioritization of specific races and ethnicities for training programs. Exactly, there are laws against racial discrimination. Obviously, California tried to do away with these laws so people could and companies could discriminate hiring people by race. They never think beyond their own fucking nose, because those would also open companies who are run by actual neo-Nazis or white supremacists to only hire white people, but they don't think that. They are very retarded, which is why these people absolutely support communism. They're absolutely retarded, and why most of them are blue anon retards. But let's go on. There are a lot of professions here. There are legitimate professional reasons to prioritize diversity. Piloting is not one of them. Passengers do not interact or communicate with the pilot, ever. The only thing that matters is skill. There was a time pilots communicated with the passengers, but it was mostly out of their own volition, and they would do so just to say, hi, well, I'm flying your plane, and only rarely they do so. I remember the pilot who did the flight from Miami to London for me. He was black. He came out of the cabin. He had a awesome voice. The flying was a 777 from American Airlines. He walked out the corridors on both corridors for the 777. He went in direction on the right and returned through the left. He saluted every single passenger in his cabin. Holy fuck, that was a professional pilot. And his landing was smooth as fuck. You didn't even feel the bump on the road. Which was different from the airplane who landed on Miami. Well, it was a 737-800. That was a bit of a bump. But the landing to London, and London is quite windy, and it was pretty, albeit it was half cloudy that day. The landing was buttery smooth, let me say. I didn't even feel it. The guy was good. This is the type of people I want hired or want flying the planes I want to be in. I want them to be hired based on their skills. I don't give a shit the skin color, what you carry between your leg. If you can do the landing that pilot did for me on London. And let me put it this way, he was black. He was amazing. He landed utterly smooth. God, ever since that landing, I've been trying to do that landing in flight simulators ever since. I think I've achieved it only a couple of times. In most of the situations, you can actually see the camera doing this. Holy shit, pickle. Anyway, heroes, please hire blind pilots. I always thought it were disgusting that I've never seen a blind pilot. The ableism made me feel unsafe on your flights. We must hire pilots based on irrelevant, immutable traits to achieve true, equitable safety. And not only that, we need to put down demographics so the others can feel better. And that's great. No, really. I've never seen a blind pilot, really. God, you have a very good point in here. Why don't we hire more blind pilots? That will definitely make sense. That'll definitely work. That'll definitely be within their own parameters. Why can't you hire more disabled pilots? Hey, why can't you just hire one-armed pilot as well, one-legged pilot? There's no problem if the pilot has to move the rudder with his feet. Yeah, there's no problem with that. It's racist of the airplane to subject the pilot of using a rudder with pedals. Let's make it using the rudder only with the joystick, like you do in flight, in the old joysticks or old flight simulator, or on the cheapo joysticks like this. If you subject the co-pilot or the pilot of having to use both hands to move switches around the cabin while the other is busy holding the stick or the yoke, that's actually racist and ableist. Why don't you do that, United? Are you absolutely retarded, United Airlines? Fuck me. Anyway, the new initiative also makes some wonder if United Airlines was actively discriminating against women and people of color prior to this quota requirement. Good point. Very good point. Let's see. United also came out in opposition to the new voting laws in Georgia. Why am I not surprised? Which put them in the ranks of the corporations that decried voter IDs. Don't worry, you need an ID to work for United. You also need an ID to do a lot of things. This earned them praise from the left and further derision from the conservative right. Yeah. That's about it with the article. Let me put it this way. This is absolutely pinnacle of retardness. I think for 2021, in level of retardness, of diversity retard, I think that wins it. That wins the prize 2020 retard of the year. And obviously, we're gonna need a bit more retarded shit to topple this. I don't know, maybe medics based on skin color and gender may actually topple that one, but so far, that looks like to be the 2021 retard bullshit of the year. Really? What sort of amazing idea? The retard who had this idea, that imbecile could probably be high on fentanyl and think, I can't breathe. Oh hey, good idea. Let's hire pilots based on skin color and gender. I can't breathe. Fentanyl bad. God damn it. Are these people? What are these people consuming? Can't be only just fentanyl. What are they thinking? Okay, rhetorical question. Quite frankly, I don't think they are thinking. Because, let's face it, No, maybe, no, really, the only situation that I can think of, really, and I mean it, the only situation that I can think of in which this could be toppled down as the most retarded woke shit of the year is if a hospital starts hiring people based on skin color, lived experiences, or what they carry between their legs. That's the only situation which I see or think that might actually qualify of toppling down the most retarded bullshit of the 2021. Jesus Christ. Alright, let's end with this retarded bullshit right now, so don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you like the content of this, of what you see. Don't forget to subscribe in youtube.com/Dr. Jester, and fuck you, YouTube, because it's compulsory to say fuck you, YouTube, for being a fucking fucker. Anyway, if you like exclusive stuff, head to beachute.com/Dr. Jester or minds.com/Dr. Jester for exclusive content and stuff that I don't have to censor myself. Anyway, thank you for watching, and please try not to fly on United Airlines when they have policies like that, because, well, at least if you crash or you die in a flaming plane, you knew that you did it to stop white supremacy, because the pilot was a transgender woman of color, and a lesbian too. Oh, probably a dwarf. Either way, you're stopping white supremacism if you fly on United. Anyway, thank you for watching. Have a very good night, or whatever is worth right now.